Attention! Cules. A super bomb has just exploded at Barcelona, and what is happening in the Blaugrana team's planning promises to radically change the future of the midfield. Get ready, because what you are about to hear is not just another rumor. Barcelona has activated all its antennas to closely follow a talent who could become the next gem to lead the team's creative play. Yes, we are talking about Ezekiel Fernandez, also known as Fernandez, the Argentine midfielder who is beginning to shine at Bayer Leverkusen and is now in Barcelona's sights to reinforce a midfield that needs freshness, vision, and talent for the coming years. The Blaugrana club has taken note of the midfield situation after the departures of historic figures and knows that this is the ideal time to integrate a creative profile capable of bringing drive, tactical intelligence, and the ability to associate with teammates impeccably. Fernandez has demonstrated that he possesses all these qualities. He is young, has potential, and has shown very promising initial performances in Germany. His talent for threading passes, reading the game, and actively participating in offensive construction make him an ideal target for a Barcelona that seeks to regain its lost balance and continue dominating both in La Liga and in Europe. In recent seasons, Barcelona has suffered from the absence of an organizing midfielder who truly makes a difference. That's why the sports management has put several alternatives on the table, but Fernandez stands out as a player who could mature under pressure and adapt to Barcelona's demanding style, coexisting with more physical or defensive profiles. The intelligence of this young Argentine, his speed in adapting to complex systems, and his willingness to take on responsibilities despite his young age are traits that have caught the attention of the Cule executives. His arrival at Leverkusen from Alcacia for around €25 million with bonuses was the first step in a trajectory that points towards the major European clubs, and Barcelona knows that Germany can be the perfect platform to convince him to make the leap to Spanish football. In his first matches with the German team, Fernandez has been employed as a double pivot, showing surprising ball control and intermediate functions that highlight his ability to integrate into demanding teams. Even his small adversities, such as starting with a red card at the end of a match won by his team, have only demonstrated his temperament and ability to quickly learn from mistakes. Barcelona has closely followed his evolution, monitoring not only his technical performance but also his mental growth and ability to face international demands. The possibility that Fernandez could participate in the World Cup with Argentina would further strengthen his profile as a market target. And at Valverde and company, they know that this opportunity cannot be missed. Unlike other clubs that may only promise minutes or an economic project, Barcelona offers history, protagonism, and an environment where young talent can develop under pressure, but with guarantees of success. Leverkusen, aware of his value, has protected the player with a long contract, but also knows that when a club of Barcelona's caliber enters the equation, conversations change completely. Barcelona does not need to convince with vague promises. Its appeal lies in its sports project, in the possibility of playing with the best and learning from historical references that have always been part of the Blaugrana philosophy. The bet is twofold: to integrate a midfielder with immediate projection and allow him to grow until he becomes a reference player for the club. The post-World Cup transfer window will be decisive in defining whether Fernandez joins the Blaugrana project. The connection between Barcelona and Leverkusen is already activated. Now, it only remains to be seen if the project convinces all parties and if Fernandez accepts the challenge offered by the Catalan entity. From the first moment, it is perceived that Barcelona's management is acting with a vision for the future, ensuring that the team not only competes at the highest level but also prepares for the coming years with an offensive, creative, and dominant style, as demanded by the Cule fans. If this transfer is finally completed, it would be a masterstroke by Barcelona against its eternal rivals. While Real Madrid continues to search for a way to rebuild its midfield without finding the right compass, Barcelona could secure a talent that combines youth, technique, and vision, demonstrating once again that when it comes to building the future, no one in Spain does it better than Barcelona. Attention, Cules. A bomb has just exploded at Barcelona, and what is happening with Robert Lewandowski promises to mark a before and after in the club's recent history. The veteran Polish striker, who has been a goal-scoring reference in the Blaugrana team, is going through the most decisive weeks of his career, and Barcelona has made strategic decisions that, although controversial, aim to prepare the club for a more balanced and competitive future. This news touches the sensitive fibers of the fans, as losing a player of Lewandowski's stature is not easy, especially if it is a direct rival like Atletico de Madrid that seeks to take advantage of this situation. Robert Lewandowski, at 37 years old, has proven to be an elite scorer and an undisputed leader on the field. However, Barcelona has decided not to offer him a renewal beyond June 2026, understanding that age and declining performance forced the club to plan the transition towards new leaders in attack. This decision, although painful for many fans, is a demonstration of the vision of the Blaugrana management. It is not just about retaining historic players, but about preparing the team for the coming seasons, ensuring a balance between experience and youth, and creating space for new figures who can take on the responsibility of leading the attack. Despite this decision, Lewandowski remains competitive, and his quality has not disappeared. He has started the season with a reduced role, aware that the team is building a new stage in its offensive. His professionalism and commitment have been clear in every training session and in every minute he has played, demonstrating that he can still contribute to the club. But Barcelona, with an eye on the future, has decided to prioritize long-term planning. The management does not want to leave the transition to chance or depend exclusively on the experience of a single player. It wants to build a system where creativity, youth, and adaptability define the team. Now, the scenario becomes complicated with the entry of Atletico de Madrid. The Colchonero club, always attentive to opportunities to strengthen its squad without making large outlays, has shown interest in Lewandowski, following a model similar to the signing of Luis Suarez, which allowed them to conquer La Liga. Atletico considers that, despite the striker's age, they can offer him minutes, a leading role, and continuity in La Liga, making this move an unacceptable risk for Barcelona. Losing a player of this magnitude directly to a rival would be a wound difficult to heal. And even more so if it is one of the teams that historically compete for the same titles. From Poland, information arrives confirming Atletico's willingness to offer him an important role in their squad. And although Lewandowski could explore other options such as the Premier League or the Saudi Pro League, his apparent priority would be to stay in Spain. This places Barcelona in a dilemma. On one hand, the need to free up salary mass and prepare the attack for the future. On the other, the risk that a rival club benefits from the departure of a historic player who still has the quality to make a difference in decisive matches. The transition that Barcelona faces is not simple. It is planning the search for a successor capable of assuming the responsibility of leading the offensive and maintaining the competitive level that the fanbase demands. Lewandowski's departure will accelerate the arrival of new young, energetic, talented, and ambitious profiles that can ensure the team continues to dominate La Liga and compete in Europe at the highest level. But this strategy does not detract from the fact that the farewell to the Pole will be an emotional moment for the technical team and, of course, for the fans who have appreciated his goal-scoring ability and commitment every season. Barcelona, in its strategic vision, knows that this decision can generate controversy and debate among fans. However, the management maintains full confidence that preparing the club's future is more important than clinging to the past, even when that past is as brilliant as Lewandowski's legacy. Sports planning focuses on balancing experience and youth, maintaining a powerful, dynamic, and versatile attack, and ensuring that the team can sustain its competitive level for several seasons. From a tactical point of view, Lewandowski's replacement will allow Barcelona to explore new offensive formulas combining young talent and established players who can take on different roles in attack. This transition will also send a message to La Masia and the market. Barcelona remains a club that bets on talent, develops its players, and always seeks to maintain its supremacy in Spain and Europe. It is a clear message to historic rivals. The club that has led innovation and quality does not stop, even in the face of difficult decisions like this one. Attention, Queules. A major bomb has just exploded at Barcelona, and what is happening with Pablo Barrios promises to shake up the transfer market and once again demonstrate that the Blaugrana club does not back down from any rival. Get ready, because what is happening is not just another rumor. Barcelona has decided to take the initiative in the race for one of the most promising young talents in Spanish football, and neither Bayern Munich nor Atletico de Madrid will be able to stop it. Yes, you heard it right. The German club and the eternal red and white rival seem to have been relegated as the Blaugrana management activates its pieces to integrate Pablo Barrios and strategically strengthen the midfield. Pablo Barrios, a 22-year-old Spanish midfielder, has stood out at Atletico de Madrid as one of the most solid promises from the Spanish academy. His ability to recover balls, direct the game, and associate with his teammates makes him an ideal profile for Barcelona, which seeks to strengthen the midfield with youth, technique, and long-term projection. The Blaugrana management has identified in Barrios the perfect opportunity to reinforce the team's structure, ensuring that the generational transition is efficient and that the quality in midfield is not compromised. Bayern Munich, known for its ambition and financial capacity, seemed to have the advantage in this operation. The German club's intention was to incorporate Barrios to replace Leon Goretzka, who could leave Munich at the end of his contract. However, Barcelona has not been intimidated by Bavarian economic power. The Kuhl strategy is clear: to convince the player that here he will have a solid sports project, an immediate leading role, and the possibility to grow in an environment that respects and values young talent. This approach demonstrates that the Blaugrana club does not depend solely on money, but bets on a coherent and attractive project that places the player at the center of the sports plan. As if that were not enough, Atletico de Madrid also finds itself under pressure. The red and white club has always valued Barrios as a jewel of its academy and a long-term strategic asset. However, Barcelona's entry into this negotiation radically changes the rules of the game. Now, it is not just about retaining a valuable player but competing against a convincing project that can offer the footballer the leading role he deserves. We, the Kuhls, know that winning the race for young talents not only strengthens the team but also sends a clear message to rivals. Barcelona remains the most desired and competitive club in Spain and Europe. Regarding Barrios' performance, his evolution at Atletico de Madrid has been impressive. Under the command of Diego Simeone, he has demonstrated tactical maturity, physical resistance, and the ability to take on responsibilities in demanding matches. His contract, valid until 2030, gives Atletico a negotiating advantage, but Barcelona's vision goes beyond economic figures. It focuses on offering a sports project that maximizes his development and allows him to establish himself as a key piece in midfield. This combination of talent, youth, and opportunities makes him a priority target for the Blaugrana club. Now, we cannot ignore the strategic impact of this operation. If Barcelona manages to finalize the transfer of Barrios, it will get ahead of its direct rivals in controlling one of the most promising midfielders in Spain. Bayern Munich will be forced to readjust its planning, while Atletico de Madrid will suffer the loss of a player who is establishing himself as a protagonist in its squad. This situation strengthens Barcelona's position as a club capable of leading innovation and the construction of its long-term project, while maintaining competitiveness and ambition at the highest level. The bet on Barrios is not just a sports move, it is a message to Europe and La Liga. It indicates that Barcelona is ready to compete not only in terms of results but also in planning, vision, and the ability to attract young talents who can make a difference for years. This type of move consolidates the club's reputation as an absolute reference in training, development, and strategy, making it clear that the Blaugrana entity does not fear challenging giants like Bayern Munich or direct rivals like Atletico de Madrid. Additionally, integrating Barrios will allow Barcelona to strengthen team cohesion and balance the midfield, bringing freshness, creativity, and defensive capability. His profile fits the Kuhl philosophy, which combines technique, tactical intelligence, and offensive projection. The player will not only have the opportunity to grow individually but will also be a key piece in the consolidation of a modern, competitive, and ambitious Barcelona in Europe. Barcelona's decision to pursue Pablo Barrios also reflects an intelligent long-term construction strategy. It is not just about filling an immediate need in midfield but about consolidating a project that keeps the club competitive in the coming years. The Blaugrana sports management has thoroughly analyzed every detail. His ability to adapt to a team with a possession style, his reading of the game, his physical resistance, and his skill in executing rapid transitions make him an ideal candidate for midfield. This planning shows how Barcelona understands that the key to success is not only in the names, but in how they integrate into a collective and strategic project that guarantees performance and evolution. Moreover, Pablo Barrios arrives at a key moment for Barcelona. The team is in full transformation, with young talents waiting to consolidate themselves in the first team and with a need to balance experience and youth. Including a player like Barrios allows the team to strengthen its base, increase internal competitiveness, and create tactical alternatives that the coach can exploit depending on the rival or match situation. This is particularly important against elite teams like Bayern Munich, which has repeatedly demonstrated its ability to dominate European duels thanks to the depth of its squad. On the other hand, the psychological impact of successfully completing a transfer like Barrios cannot be underestimated. Surpassing Bayern in the race for this player would send a powerful message to Europe. Barcelona remains capable of attracting young talents and projecting them to the highest level, even against clubs with superior budgets and continental prestige. For the fans, this means that the club is not only investing in players but also in its own projection and leadership in Spanish and European football. This approach not only strengthens the squad but also projects an image of leadership and coherence, showing players that Barcelona is a club worth investing their talent and energy in.